Hey guys, what's up? Hope everyone is doing great on this Sunday, April the 2nd. We got a big 13-game schedule tonight. Lots of action, interesting games. Looks like we're going to have another wild one, guys. I did take a brief look at all the games tonight. We're going to break them all down. Guys, but though I'm going to break these videos up tonight. I'm going to do two videos. I'm going to do my first video right now for these early games. There are four games that are starting early tonight. And then in a few hours, I'm going to do the remaining 9 games. Still want to gather a bit more information on the later games. The injury report looks active again. I want to give you guys the most accurate information that I can and most responsible. So guys, with that being said, let's get started and break down these first 4 games of the night. In the first game of the night, guys, we got the Toronto Raptors traveling to Charlotte to take on the Hornets. Toronto is currently a 14-point favorite. I had Toronto favored by 11.5 in this game. Line, guys, we see is very, very high for a Toronto team on the road. But if we take a little closer look to what Charlotte is putting out on the court today, things are not looking very good. Even though Charlotte, guys, recently has done some damage to some playoff-bound teams, most notably the Dallas Mavericks. They did beat the Mavs twice. I think those 2 wins that they got against Dallas was pretty much the nail in the coffin for Dallas. It looks like I don't think Dallas is going to be making the playoffs this season, and I think they have Charlotte to thank for that. Tonight, though, Charlotte, guys, if I take a look at the injury report, it's not looking very good for them. It looks like they're going to be sitting pretty much all their regulars. In those games that they did beat Dallas, they at least had P.J. Washington in there. One of the regulars. He's also going to be sitting tonight. They're going to be going with all their scrubs in this game against the Raptors. Toronto, guys, has a lot of motivation to win this ball game. They are in a fight with Atlanta to get the 8th spot in the East, which will put him in, of course, the play-in tournament, but is an opportunity for them just in case they have a bad day and lose the first game of the play-in tournament. It will give them a second shot. That's why the 8th place in the East standings is very important. Toronto looks like they have a good shot at getting that. With games like this against the Hornets, I do expect Toronto, guys, to go in there, win, cover this 14-point spread. Charlotte, we know, has done some damage, but some of the regulars that were playing for the Hornets in those games are not going to be playing tonight. The only way I can go in this game is with Toronto and the -14. In the second game of the night, guys, we got the Utah Jazz making the short trip from Boston, where they were in their last game, to take on the Nets. Brooklyn 8.5-point favorites. Currently, I had Brooklyn favored by 9.5 in this game. Brooklyn, we know, is in a fight for the 6th spot in the East. They do have a game-and-a-half lead over the 7th place Miami Heat, and Brooklyn does have a pretty favorable schedule to finish out this regular season. Just 5 games left on their schedule. This definitely, guys, is a must-win for Brooklyn if they are to keep the distance between themselves and Miami. And chances look pretty good if you take into account their recent form, especially their last game. They were against Atlanta. They were playing against the Hawks. Hawks, we know, are also in some must-win situations, but Brooklyn ended up winning that game comfortably. We're hitting their shots. Brooklyn, we know, is mainly a jump shooting team, and if they're hitting their shots, they can beat anybody. If they're missing, they can lose to anybody. Utah, guys, in their last game was in Boston. Boston, which was coming off a big 40-point blowout win against the Bucks, but Utah was competitive in that game, guys. In Boston, only ended up losing by 8. They were missing, as usual, their better players, but they were still very competitive. In this ball game, guys, against Brooklyn, I do expect Utah to be competitive once again. But there are 2 ways to approach this, guys. If you look at the injury report, it looks like Lauri Markkanen is listed as questionable. He could be coming back for this ball game. It would not surprise me if he played. If you think he's going to play, guys, which I also think he's going to play, I'm going to take the points right now. I'm going to take Utah here in the +8.5. Probably a half-size bet, since we do still have some uncertainty with his status. I'm going to take Utah here. I do expect them to be competitive once again. Even their bench players, guys, their other players are still pretty good, and they can be competitive in Brooklyn. My thoughts for this game: Utah and the +8.5. In our next ball game, we've got the Memphis Grizzlies traveling to the Windy City to take on the Bulls. Memphis currently 2-point favorites. I had Memphis favored by 3 in this game. The reason for this short line, guys, obviously it is short. If you look at the quality of each of these ball clubs, is because Chicago does need this game a little more than Memphis. Chicago's in a fight for playing positioning. They're just a game behind Atlanta and Toronto to advance to a possible 9 or 8 spot. The reason for this short line, both the Bulls and the Grizzlies, I did look at the injury report. Looks like they're going to be at full strength. So both teams are going to be going at it. Memphis, the superior team, guys, and they're also just a couple of games behind Denver. You can't say this is a complete meaningless game for Memphis. They're going to try to give Denver a run for their money during this final stretch. So this is a game, just that you can tell that they're not going to be resting anybody. They're going to be going for the W in this game. They are the superior team. I'm not going to overthink this one. I know Chicago does have more motivation, but I'm going to be going with the better team over here. Memphis, and the -2 is my pick in this ball game. And in the last game of these first 4 early bird ball games, we got the Portland Trailblazers traveling to Minneapolis to take on the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves, guys, are currently 17-point favorites. I had Minnesota favored by 16 in this game. Not much to analyze in this ball game, guys. Minnesota is in a must-win situation. They're in playoff contention. They're currently 9th in the West. They have lost a couple straight, 39 and 39, just a game ahead of the 10th place Thunder. So games like this obviously is must win for Minnesota. Doesn't look like they're going to have much trouble in this ball game. They are playing against a G League level Portland Trailblazers team that has been getting blown out in every single one of their recent ball games. They're playing with no regulars, guys. Their starting point guard is some guy named Archie Diacono. Not much to talk about here with the Blazers. It's all on Minnesota. I do have Minnesota winning this game and winning it comfortably. But, guys, my opinion in this game is to wait a little bit, because I do see on the injury report they do have Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards listed as questionable here. I think this is a good chance for them to maybe rest these two guys. The number could drop down a bit. We could see maybe a -14, 13.5. Who knows if they get announced out. So I'm going to wait here. Hopefully get a better number for Minnesota. For the video's sake, though, I'm going to give you guys the Minnesota and the -17. But I do expect one or both of these players to sit, the line to drop a little closer towards game time. Keep an eye on that game, Minnesota to win, but hopefully get a better number. And this is what I got for you guys as of now. First 4 games, broke them down, got our picks. And we're ready to roll for now. I will be back, guys, in a couple hours to do the second part of tonight's videos and the remaining 9 games of the schedule. So remember, guys, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to get the alert when I'm on. I will be back in a few more hours, guys. See you in a bit.